I'm going to explain how I lengthen this jacket into a coat. The pattern that I've used is my PDF sewing pattern, the Zambezi jacket. And in the pattern, it ends at this stage where this peplum goes on along the bottom. However, it's really easy to lengthen this jacket into a knee-length coat or even a full-length coat. So what I'm doing to achieve that today is I'm taking this pattern piece number 4 of the Zambezi jacket, and I'm going to cut 12 pieces to form a length of patchwork that's going to be stitched along the bottom there to lengthen the coat. So I've already cut those pieces. They're here, and I'm going to start joining them together in a little while to make this piece that lengthens the jacket. So it takes approximately 3 pieces to fit along the front, and it takes approximately 6 to go along the back. So I'm going to sew these together in one long strip and then stitch them to the bottom of the jacket, and in that way I'll get the length of coat that I want. So I'll return in a little while to show you how that worked out. I've sewed the lower band that's going to add length to the jacket. This is the strip with all the sections sewed into it. Now if you look at the pattern piece, you'll observe how it's tapered, narrow at the top, wider at the bottom. So when I sewed these pieces together, the narrow part went to the top, and you'll note how this causes the whole band to have this curved shape, so that it emphasizes when the jacket is finished that A line of the coat. And let me show you how that will attach to there. Okay, so I'm just going to do this in my usual fashion, overlaying and doing the triple zigzag stitch to attach that in place. I'm going to start at the centre backs, sewing to the fronts. This is the centre back, so I'm going to start with the centre back piece here and sew to the fronts, one way that way, one way that way, so that if I have anything that's going over the front edge, I'll just trim it away. Hi, now that I've got the bottom bands on, the whole length of the coat is just a bit long for the screen. So I'll show you the back. That's the front, of course, the obvious. That's the back of the coat. I'm in the process of stitching on this bottom edging. I'll turn the coat back over in a moment and explain to you how I'm putting that edging on. The coat's pretty close to being finished now. In the 5th video that I'm going to put up, I will go through the finishing parts, how I'm going to finish off the coat, which will essentially be putting plackets on the front edge and the collar on. The coat's going to stay unlined. It's pretty clean on the inside. Now, this bottom edging, I'll go in a bit closer, zoom in a bit there so I can show you how I'm doing that. Okay, so essentially I've cut a piece of a bias strip. This is the stripy fabric here. It's sewed on edge to edge along all the way around the hem, and then I've gone back in there and reinforced that by doing a little pin stitch close along there. That pin stitching means that when this bias gets turned up onto the fabric like this and stitched down as it has been along here, when it gets stitched like that, it leaves a nice edge where you can just see just a millimetre of the turn there. It makes it turn up very nicely along there like that. And I've started stitching down the bias on this side. Because I'm trying to stay consistent with the way I've sewed all the seams on the coat with the frayed edges, I'm not turning this bias under. I'm simply stitching a few millimetres away from the raw edge, which will then fray. So when we come to video 5 in the next day or two, I'll be showing you the completely finished coat, discussing how I put the plackets and the neck bands on.